Green grass, blue sky, and somewhere out there, something is about to die. Fangs, claws, jaws, every creature carries its own weapon, and not one of them is bluffing. On the savannah, one animal's breakfast is another's funeral. Fall behind by a single heartbeat, and you lose everything. As the first light touches the East African savannah, everything appears serene. A herd of antelope graze in the morning mist. A troop of warthogs trots single file across open ground, their tails held bolt upright like little radio aerials. But peace on the savannah is always the most fragile thing of all. Who will eat today? And who will go to sleep on an empty stomach? A warthog emerges. This time, it is a massive boar, armed with tusks sharp enough to kill. The lioness knows she must get close. Dense scrub offers the perfect disguise. Then, suddenly, she explodes forward. Dust erupts. A lightning strike of a pounce, and the struggle is over almost before it begins. Mission accomplished. The lioness clamps down on her prize, muscles straining as she hauls the enormous carcass through the grass toward a wooded outcrop. If lions embody the power of the collective, then cheetahs are the supreme biological machines of aerodynamics. Cheetahs are the undisputed masters of the high-speed chase. Yet, for all their agility, they are surprisingly fragile creatures built for nothing more than short, explosive sprints after small prey. They lack the raw bulk and sheer weight of lions to bring down large animals. But this male is different. He does not hunt alone. He has learned a crucial lesson. Strength lies in numbers. Here, there are not two, but three cheetahs, a brotherhood. They have rewritten the playbook, and in doing so, they catch their quarry completely off guard. They understand that together they can topple targets of extraordinary size. An ostrich, a bird standing taller than a man and weighing twice as much as any single cheetah. The male ostrich has spotted one of the cheetahs, but he assumes there is only one. Then, without warning, all three appear at once, others to wrestle this formidable bird to the ground. Some predators are born with overwhelming brute force. Cheetahs stake their lives on a few seconds of absolute perfection. But every ruler's feast must end. As the killing machines retreat into the shade, another power begins to stir. High above, they glide unseen. But when a single bird spots a carcass and folds its wings into a screaming dive, a silent signal sweeps across dozens of miles of sky in an instant. White-backed vultures never dine alone, and they have never once dined in peace. Beneath that ungainly exterior lies a disciplined, terrifyingly efficient disposal machine. A flock of white-backed vultures can strip the massive carcass of a wildebeest clean in under 20 minutes. Their long, slender, featherless necks are the perfect biological instrument engineered to plunge deep into the innermost recesses of a carcass's chest cavity without becoming matted with blood. That savage voracity is not greed. By clearing tons of rotting flesh each day, white-backed vultures form nature's last line of defense, keeping the wild heartbeat of Africa alive. On land, we know every predator by name. We can count each surviving individual. But beneath 70% of this planet's surface lies a world we have never truly seen. Where darkness is not the enemy, it is the law, and the predators down there need no sunlight to reign. "3,300 feet below the surface, in the darkness, a pair of eyes nearly 11 inches across scan the infinite void. The giant squid, Architeuthis dux, a creature that for centuries existed only in legend. But tonight, those colossal eyes are not searching for prey. They are watching for an enemy. The sperm whale, the deepest diver of all mammals. Each dive lasts over an hour, plunging more than 6,500 feet, where the pressure crushes everything except the will to survive. "6,500 feet above, a dark shape is descending at unstoppable speed. "50 tons of muscle and bone compressed into a body stretching nearly 60 feet. The confrontation begins. Tentacles lock on, chitinous suckers raking across skin, leaving circular scars the whale will carry for life. This is no fairy tale. This is a battle waged every single night. In a place no human has ever witnessed. The ocean covers more than 70% of Earth's surface, yet less than 5% has ever been explored. Each layer of depth rewrites the rules. The mightiest creature at one level may not survive a single day at the next. The question is not whether life exists, it is this. As the light vanishes, layer by layer, how does life transform? But the strangest truth lies not in the darkest depths. It lives where light itself becomes a weapon. Let us begin at the surface, where sunlight still penetrates and size still dictates power. In the ocean's first layer, everything seems familiar, but the familiar here can kill you. The sunlit zone from the surface down to roughly 660 feet is where light floods in, where phytoplankton photosynthesize, and where the entire food chain begins. In warm waters of 77 degrees Fahrenheit, an unearthly melody rings out. Not the drone of an engine, not the crash of waves, it is a song. The humpback whale Megaptera novaeangliae, one of the most magnificent creatures ever to have lived. 40 tons, pectoral fins spanning 16 feet, the longest of any whale. But its most formidable weapon is not its immense size alone. It is an intelligence and an agility that defy belief. Humpback whales do not merely swim, they fly. "40 tons launch clear of the water, the body twisting in midair before crashing down in a thunderous detonation, spray erupting white against the blue. No whale on Earth breaches more spectacularly. That leap is not mere brute showmanship. It reveals an exquisite mastery of the body. Those enormous pectoral fins, spanning a full third of the animal's total length, do not simply part the water. They function as rudder, brake, and aircraft wing, all fused into a single organ. A breathtaking agility in a body stretching 46 feet from nose to tail. And when they hunt, they deploy a weapon of staggering ingenuity: the bubble net. A group of humpbacks dives deep, swimming in a wide circle beneath a school of fish. They exhale thousands of bubbles, forming a cylindrical wall of air. The prey is corralled into the center with absolutely no escape. Then from below, the entire group surges upward in unison, their cavernous mouths gaping wide, engulfing everything. This is cooperative hunting at its zenith, each whale holding a fixed role, coordinating with the precision of a drilled squadron. Every year, humpback whales undertake epic odysseys, migrating roughly 5,000 miles from the frigid, food-rich polar waters to the warm tropics to breed. Across a borderless ocean, the humpback whale stands as a testament to a singular, unmatched power where intelligence, the spirit of the herd, and sheer magnificence converge beneath the sun. But in this same ocean, there is a predator that needs no song. It hunts in silence, guided by cold, ruthless calculation. The great white shark. Among the rare few sharks capable of elevating their own body temperature, warm blood grants them relentless power and razor-sharp acuity in frigid seas. More than 11 million years of evolution have forged a killing machine, agile, versatile, and deeply cunning. If the humpback whale is the ocean's artist, the great white is an assassin. No communication, no cooperation, no song, only silence, observation, and judgment. The great white's most dangerous weapon is not its jaws, nor its superhuman senses. It is the ability to recognize the precise moment its prey is most vulnerable and to exploit it without mercy. They are predators of cold deliberation. They do not strike indiscriminately, but typically target young seals, a low-risk quarry that yields a rich, fatty reward. That blubber is stored in a liver that functions as the shark's own colossal fuel tank. Yet, what makes the great white truly terrifying is not its raw striking power. It is an astonishing adaptability, the capacity to shift hunting tactics to suit every stretch of water. In deep water, it descends into the abyss, camouflaged perfectly in the darkness, eyes fixed upward toward the silhouetted surface, and waits. When a young seal drifts into the crosshairs, the shark erupts upward with such explosive force that its entire body tears through the surface and rockets into the air. When waters run too shallow for ambush, it cruises along submerged rock ledges in broad daylight. A cat-and-mouse game unfolds, the shark patrolling with infinite patience rather than burning energy chasing a crowded colony. One lapse of attention, one seal straying from the group, and the shark seizes the moment, delivering instant death. You might assume a predator this shrewd would confine itself to small, defenseless seals and avoid any greater gamble. You would be wrong. When the moment is right and opportunity presents itself, that patience and ruthless calculation are turned upon an unthinkable target. They will shadow, exploit every lapse, and drown humpback whales, creatures 3 times their length and 30 times their weight, to claim the ocean's ultimate feast. We shall meet that hunter again, in deeper waters. But first, in this very same layer, another giant, proves a remarkable truth. The biggest need not be the most dangerous. The whale shark Rhynchodon typus, 62 feet longer than a double-decker bus, more than 44,000 pounds, the largest shark on Earth. And it is utterly harmless. Inside a mouth stretching 5 feet wide, more than 3,000 tiny teeth are arranged in over 300 rows. But they are not for biting. They are evolutionary relics as useless as wisdom teeth in humans. The whale shark feeds by filtering water. It opens its mouth, draws in thousands of gallons of seawater, and sieves out plankton, fish eggs, and tiny shrimp through its gill rakers. Average swimming speed, a mere 3 miles per hour slower than a brisk walk. Every hour, it filters more than 1,500 gallons, the equivalent of 3 small swimming pools. The largest biological filter on the planet, powered by patience rather than speed. They migrate across entire oceans, following trails of plankton-rich water. Each individual bears a unique pattern of white spots. Researchers use astronomical star mapping software to identify every one, the way astronomers catalog stars in the sky. Skin nearly 4 inches thick, the thickest in the animal kingdom, blanketed in white spots as unique to each individual as a fingerprint is to a human. No other cartilaginous fish on Earth shares this structure. Evolution has spent millions of years armoring the eyes of the gentlest shark in the ocean. The sunlit zone, where eyes still function, where size still determines rank, ends at roughly 660 feet. Below that line, every rule is rewritten. Speed is meaningless. Size is meaningless. And the eyes, the most prized weapon of the upper world, become entirely useless. In near-freezing waters, between 30 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, a dark shape moves at an extraordinary speed. Extraordinary because it is so slow it appears almost motionless. The Greenland shark Somniosus microcephalus, 23 feet long, more than 2,200 pounds, and completely blind. "84% of Greenland sharks carry this parasite, but they do not perish, they adapt. Where there is no light, eyes are merely a burden. Blindness is not a disability, it is a liberation. Average swimming speed, 3/4 of a mile per hour. Slower than a person walking. Slower than the whale shark. The slowest shark ever recorded. Growth rate, less than half an inch per year. 3 feet in a century. They reach sexual maturity at the age of 150, by which time human civilization has passed through several revolutions. The Arctic waters they inhabit remain cloaked in near-total darkness for most of the year. Temperatures rarely exceed 41 degrees Fahrenheit. How the Greenland shark hunts remains one of the ocean's great enigmas. At 3/4 of a mile per hour, it cannot chase anything. Scientists believe it drifts up to sleeping seals, the slowest predator in the ocean, hunting through sheer invisibility. The oldest Greenland shark on record has an estimated average age of 392 years, with a range spanning from 272 to 512 years. The longest-lived vertebrate on the planet. In the sunlit zone, speed is king. Down here, patience reigns. Every creature we have met before the humpback whale with its 40-ton breach, the great white shark with its 25-mile-per-hour strike, all live fast and die young by the ocean's reckoning. The Greenland shark chose the opposite path. So slow, it is nearly invisible. And so invisible, it is nearly immortal. Century after century, it endures silent, unhurried, indifferent to every change above the waterline. But here, in these lightless depths, not every creature has chosen patience. One predator has embraced an entirely different philosophy: speed, intelligence, and ruthless precision. The killer whale Orcinus orca, 32 feet of streamlined power, 22,000 pounds of muscle, bone, and intent. And despite that fearsome name, this is no whale at all, but the largest member of the dolphin family. The male's dorsal fin rises nearly 6.5 feet, a dark blade driven straight into the sky. Each population bears its own unique pattern of black and white, a family crest passed down through generations. If the Greenland shark is a survivor shaped by time, the killer whale is a ruler forged by intellect. No creature in the ocean commands a more varied diet. And their hunting methods shift with every quarry, not instinct, but calculated strategy. Today, the prey has revealed itself in the freezing waters of the Southern Ocean. The pod has spotted a seal resting on a slab of ice. They deploy a hunting technique known as wave washing, using their enormous bodies to manufacture the sea itself into a weapon. The group assembles beneath the surface, swimming in perfect synchrony with extraordinary focus and meticulous timing. Their collective force compresses the water, generating powerful waves that crash directly into the drifting ice floe. The sheer hydraulic force shatters that platform of safety, sweeping the seal clean off the edge and down into the freezing depths below. To execute this maneuver, every member must hold a precise position and coordinate to the second. The young follow their mothers for years, learning each hunting technique, each vocal signal, each treacherous stretch of ocean. This knowledge does not reside in the genes it lives, in the memory of the family. When an elder dies, the entire pod transforms its behavior, swimming more slowly, falling silent, drawing closer together. Killer whales live 60 to 90 years, fast and brilliantly intelligent. So, who truly rules the swiftest or the most enduring? The answer? Neither. Because in the ocean, the rules change every 650 feet. Share with Nature Moments in the comments below. In your view, is it harder to survive through intelligence or through time? But light and color in the deep are not meant for illumination. Each species wields them for a different purpose: to lure, to threaten, to seduce, to vanish. Color is language, and every species speaks its own dialect. The cuttlefish, the ocean's supreme master of disguise, possesses the most extraordinary visual strategy of them all. When approaching its prey, the cuttlefish does not hide. Instead, it unleashes pulses of light, rippling bands of pigment that cascade continuously along its body, like a mesmerizing neon billboard. The purpose is not to blind the victim, It is to bewilder, to freeze it in confusion. The illusion seizes the prey's attention, and in that instant, the creature becomes utterly motionless. A visual illusion, weaponized. No fangs required, no chase, simply a perfectly timed act of hypnosis. Some cuttlefish species go further still, emitting polarized light wavelengths that most marine creatures simply cannot perceive. An invisible channel of communication exchanging information with their own kind while predators remain entirely unaware that a conversation is taking place. But not every deception beneath the waves is beautiful. Some illusions are born solely to kill. The frogfish family, Antenariidae, a bottom dweller nestled among the coral reefs. Its body is lumpen and textured, virtually invisible against its surroundings. From the crown of its head protrudes a biological fishing rod, the Elysium, a modified dorsal spine refined over millions of years of evolution, its tip wriggling precisely like a living worm. That lure undulates gently in the current. To any hungry creature drifting past, it means one thing: food. Instinct draws them closer, and when they come close enough, the mouth opens. The frogfish does not chase. It gapes and sucks, generating a vacuum of water that swallows the prey whole in 1/600th of a second. The pressure is so extreme that nothing escapes. Its stomach stretches to accommodate prey nearly its own size. On the ocean floor, you never know when the next meal will come, so every meal must be the largest one possible. But the frogfish's most astonishing deception lies not in its rod, it lies in its camouflage. The outer skin sprouts fleshy appendages identical to sponge or algae. When it moves, its pectoral fins walk along the seabed rather than swim. Over time, it merges entirely with the texture of the rock. Its color transforms completely. Its eyes blend with the environment. Its posture slackens into lifelessness. The entire body becomes a counterfeit lump of coral, a permanent, patient fraud lying in wait on the ocean floor. One of the most extreme forms of camouflage in the entire animal kingdom. This assassin dons the disguise of the inanimate, or rather, becomes a stone for the remainder of its life. The cuttlefish wields illusion to hypnotize. The frogfish wields allure to kill. The same weapon of deception, two diametrically opposite applications. Beneath the ocean, deception has reached its absolute zenith. But the ocean conceals yet another practitioner, one that deceives not through illusion, but through mechanics. The moray eel family Muraenidae that long serpentine body lurks deep within narrow rock crevices, coiled like a viper. Its scaleless skin glistens, its mouth gapes perpetually, exposing a jagged armory of teeth, a visage so grotesque that any creature encountering it feels an involuntary chill. But the true weapon lies in the throat. When prey is detected, a secondary set of jaws within the moray's gullet launches forward the pharyngeal jaw, clamping down on the victim with devastating force. The mechanism mirrors something from science fiction, an inner jaw that fires like a spring-loaded harpoon, seizing the prey and dragging it back into the stomach in a fraction of a second. No chase required, no open water needed. Simply proximity, and the second jaw does the rest. In an environment where caves and crevices are far too narrow for conventional swallowing, this mechanical weapon is evolution's perfect answer. Its snout is packed with extraordinarily sensitive olfactory organs, reading the water, detecting the chemical signatures of creatures hiding in the darkness. Like a bloodhound on land, but exquisitely calibrated for the lightless labyrinths of the coral reef. The cuttlefish deceives through illusion. The frogfish deceives through bait. The moray eel needs no deception at all. Its secondary jaw strikes faster than any reaction time allows. From illusion to mechanics. From mechanics, we are about to enter something stranger, still chemistry. At the deepest stratum, where neither sunlight nor marine snow can reach, life has discovered how to persist on the very breath of the earth itself. The ocean floor, where tectonic plates pull apart, magma wells upward, and seawater is superheated to 750 degrees Fahrenheit before erupting back through black smoker chimneys' hydrothermal vents. Hydrogen sulfide, methane, heavy metals, water hot enough to cook any living thing in seconds. A vision of hell at the bottom of the sea. Returning now to where sunlight still touches the shallow seabed, an underwater city hums with life, where symbiosis replaces confrontation and subtlety replaces brute force. The coral reef. Less than 1% of the ocean floor, yet home to more than 25% of all marine species. The most densely populated city in the ocean. And the keeper of order here has held its post for 450 million years. The starfish. No brain, no blood. It moves by hydraulics, hundreds of tiny tube feet powered by water pressure, pumping seawater in and forcing it out to generate grip and locomotion. When it locates its prey, the starfish does something remarkable. It turns its stomach inside out, enveloping the victim and secreting digestive enzymes directly onto the flesh, feeding without swallowing. The ecologist Robert Payne demonstrated in 1966, remove the starfish from a rocky shore and the entire ecosystem collapses. The starfish is a keystone species, one whose presence alone maintains the order upon which thousands of other species depend. "450 million years of testimony, older than the dinosaurs, older than the trees upon the land." If the starfish keeps order, then the parrotfish lays the foundation. The parrotfish jaw is a fused plate of fluorapatite, harder than copper, harder than gold. They bite into coral, crushing it with an internal set of grinding plates, the pharyngeal mill, and excrete what we simply call sand. 700 pounds of white sand every year from a single fish. Those pristine white beaches where humans stretch out in the sun, the greater part of that sand has, at some point, passed through the gut of a parrotfish. At night, the parrotfish secretes a cocoon of mucus that envelops its entire body, masking its scent from the moray eel, the reef's most dangerous nocturnal hunter. An invisibility cloak woven from slime. Parrotfish control the algae on the coral surface. Without them, algae smothers the coral, blocks the light, and kills the symbiotic zooxanthellae within. The reef bleaches, then it dies. The foundation builder, the beach maker, the one that keeps the reef breathing, and almost no one knows its name. But a coral reef cannot endure on foundation builders alone. Above the limestone vaults, torpedo-shaped shadows patrol without rest. The reef shark, the supreme predators, not the mindless killing machines that cinema so loves to fabricate, but the diligent guardians of the ocean. Their bodies are masterworks of hydrodynamics. A skeleton made entirely of cartilage, extraordinarily light and flexible, allowing them to carve through the tightest turns at blistering speed within the claustrophobic maze of the reef. In these waters, sluggishness means death, and they do not hunt by sight or scent alone. In the realm of the shark, darkness offers no sanctuary. Camouflage by color is utterly futile unless you can permanently stop your own heart from beating. Yet sharks do not hunt for perfection, they seek weakness. Individuals carrying disease, injury, age, or flawed genetics are always the first to be culled. By removing weakness with a surgeon's precision, sharks prevent disease from spreading, keeping the entire reef population in its fittest and most resilient state. It is a cruel but flawless paradox of nature. The dealer of death is, in truth, the shield that protects life across an entire ecosystem. In stark contrast to those high-speed killing machines, deep within the coral forest, a tiny creature clings to a Gorgonian branch by its coiled tail and vanishes. The seahorse, bony armor in place of scales, eyes that rotate independently through 360 degrees each one, tracking a separate horizon. Unlike the hunters that surge through open water, the seahorse possesses a mechanism of perfect, static anchorage. The prehensile tail, a biological anchor. Rather than squander energy fighting the current, it wraps its tail around a coral branch or a strand of seagrass, locking its body into position. No swimming, no pursuit. It chooses absolute stillness. Its motionless body dissolves entirely into the background, transforming its very existence into an art of invisibility. But that bony armor and those flawless camouflage skills cannot protect it from the crushing pressures of the world beyond. Habitat loss, indiscriminate harvesting, and pollution seahorses are disappearing from the reefs faster than anyone predicted. Being small does not protect them, it simply makes them easier to forget. And here, in the heart of the coral city, the story ends not with conflict but with an alliance. The clownfish, Amphiprion, 4 inches long, living among the venomous tentacles of the sea anemone. Any other creature that brushes against those tentacles triggers the stinging cell's nematocysts, which fire venom on contact. But the clownfish does not. The mucus coating on the clownfish's skin contains remarkably low levels of sialic acid, the chemical that triggers the nematocysts. Without that activation signal, the anemone treats the clownfish as an extension of its own body, immunity achieved not through strength, but through chemistry. The clownfish defends the anemone from butterfly fish which feed on tentacles. The anemone shields the clownfish from every other predator. Perfect symbiosis, 2 unrelated species, stronger together than either could ever be alone. And when the dominant female dies, the largest male undergoes a sex change, becoming the new female. Protandrous hermaphroditism, an irreversible transformation. Not a choice, but a genetic imperative, ensuring the group is never without a leader. Clownfish communicate by grinding their jaws, producing clicking sounds barely audible to the human ear, yet on the reef as clear and deliberate as a knock at the door. Each sound carries a message, a warning, a territorial challenge, or a courtship invitation. The coral reef is the only place on Earth where biodiversity rivals the tropical rainforest, yet it lies beneath the surface, in a world most humans have never seen. From abyssal trenches 6,600 feet below to coral gardens just 33 feet down the ocean contains every survival strategy that life has ever invented. Speed, patience, intelligence, deception, symbiosis, chemistry. 71% of the Earth's surface, 50 to 80% of the oxygen we breathe. More than 90% of the excess heat generated by greenhouse gases is absorbed by the ocean, and less than 5% of it has ever been explored. The whale shark endangered. The Greenland shark near threatened. The sperm whale vulnerable. Coral reefs around the globe, bleaching, dying. The very residents we have just encountered are vanishing faster than we can learn to understand them. We have dived from the surface to the abyss, meeting 15 extraordinary species, each one offering a different answer to the same question: how do you survive when everything familiar disappears? In the deepest darkness, where no light penetrates, life found a way to generate its own. Where pressure crushes all resistance, life learned to bend. Where poison saturates the water, life turned poison into fuel. The ocean is not a mystery to be decoded, it is a lesson to be heard. And those eyes, 10.5 inches across, belonging to the giant squid, hovering 6,600 feet beneath the surface, are still gazing upward, waiting for us to understand. Thank you for joining Nature Moments on the deepest dive we have ever taken. The ocean still holds countless layers of secrets no one has yet touched. If you have not yet subscribed, this is the perfect moment. We will see you on the next journey. At the end of the dry season, the bed of the Mara River is little more than a ribbon of cracked mud. The ground has broken into grey shards, curling in the heat, reaching all the way to the horizon. Around the last remaining pool, the tracks of hundreds of animals overlap. The dry season wrings the savannah out, day by day. The grass yellows, then turns brown, the small streams vanish, and the herds begin to gather along an invisible map. Somewhere on this cracked plain, a creature is drawing water up out of nothing, not cloud, not rain, but a living machine weighing several tons. And that maker is the largest land animal on the planet. Leading the column is an old female elephant, her back marked by the years. She is the matriarch, and inside that heavy skull lies the most valuable possession the herd owns. An elephant's brain weighs nearly 11 pounds, the largest of any land mammal. Much of that capacity is given over to remembering every source of water across hundreds of miles. And this matriarch has lived through enough dry seasons to recall where water remains when everything else has run dry. Their destination is not a lake. It is a stretch of dry riverbed, where the surface holds not a single drop. To the untrained eye, this is a place to die of thirst. But to an elephant, it is a well not yet dug. The matriarch halts, testing the sand with her trunk. Somewhere below, moisture betrays the line of an underground spring through a scent only an elephant can read. Then the herd begins to dig. Forefeet rake at the sand, trunks scoop up handful after handful and fling it behind. A deepening pit takes shape in the middle of a riverbed that seemed long dead. That trunk is a feat of evolution. Around 40,000 bundles of muscle, not a single bone, strong enough to topple a tree, yet fine enough to pick up a single seed. The deeper they dig, the darker the sand becomes, until the glint of water seeps up at the bottom of the pit. The thick layer of sand above has filtered out bacteria, making this well water cleaner than any pool on the surface. No mud, no parasites, no rot. A grown bull elephant weighs more than 13,000 pounds and devours up to 600 pounds of grass and leaves each day, with a thirst to match. Yet rather than merely finding water, the elephant produces it, and that is what sets this animal apart from all the rest. For the well the elephants have just dug does not belong to the elephants alone. Word travels fast across the thirsty savannah. Within hours, others begin to arrive at a well they did nothing to dig. A herd of zebra is the first to catch the scent. They approach the edge of the elephant well, cautious. Then lower their heads to drink the water another species has made for them. After the zebra come antelope, then warthogs, then flocks of birds dropping down. The small pit in the dry riverbed becomes the beating heart of an entire region. This is what scientists call a keystone species. The elephant does not simply live within this ecosystem. The elephant builds it, digging it up out of the earth with trunk and foot. In drier regions, researchers have recorded a whole range of species surviving the dry season on elephant wells alone. Lose the elephant, and it is not one species that dies, but a whole chain of life that collapses with it. That knowledge does not die with the matriarch. It is passed down to the younger females, generation after generation, a living library of water, written in memory rather than words. The matriarch understands the value of what she has created. She lingers by the well, ears slowly fanning, standing guard. But she cannot stay forever, and she knows it. For this same well will become a trap. Where water gathers, prey gathers. And where prey gathers, the hunters will come. Before they leave, the elephants drink one last time, then turn toward the horizon, following memory to the next source of water on a map that is theirs alone. They leave behind a gift and a curse. The gift is water. The curse is every predator that water is about to draw in. And the first to step onto this stage of water is not a hunter. It is the tallest creature on earth, the one that pays the highest price simply to bend down and drink. Towering over every tree around the well, a Maasai giraffe approaches. A grown male can weigh as much as 2,600 pounds, and the heart that pumps blood up that enormous neck alone weighs around 25 pounds. Its height makes the giraffe the watchtower of the savannah. Large eyes set high up pick out a lion from a distance at which others are blind. When that neck suddenly stiffens and turns toward one direction, every animal around the well understands danger is coming. And yet nature has taken from the giraffe the very thing it needs most at the water's edge. The neck that lets it feed on the highest leaves is far too tall to reach the water below. To drink, it must splay its forelegs wide and lower its whole body, a posture so awkward it becomes dangerous. In that splay-legged moment, the tallest animal on the savannah becomes the most vulnerable, needing precious seconds to rise that it does not have. Every mouthful of water is a gamble. The giraffe lifts its head, looks around, then lowers it again, putting off the moment of exposure to the very last. The giraffe spreads its legs, lowers its neck, lips touching the surface of the well. In that instant, the entire towering body hangs suspended between thirst and death. It drinks quickly, eyes still darting. Then, with a clumsy start, it gathers its legs, springs up, and the safety of its height returns. This time nothing happens, but it will have to repeat that gamble every single day until the dry season ends. This is the first paradox of water here. The very thing that grants life forces the one who drinks to bow, to stoop, to bare its neck at the exact moment it cannot defend itself. Around the elephant, well, a fragile order is taking shape. Elephants make the water, giraffes keep watch, zebra and antelope press in to drink. Only one thing is missing from this picture, the predator. With every passing night, the pool shrinks further, squeezing the distance between those who drink and those who wait ever closer. All across the Mara, dozens of herds funnel toward fewer and fewer waterholes, and that concentration is exactly what the predators have waited for all dry season long. Because for a hunter patient enough, there is no need to search the whole savannah. It need only seize the water and let thirst drive the prey straight to its jaws. At the largest waterhole left in the region, one family has done exactly that. They have not moved for days. They are waiting. Stretched out in the shade of an acacia, less than 100 paces from the water's edge, is a pride of lions. They do not hide. They do not conceal themselves. They have no need to, because they own this place. This is the last large waterhole still holding out in the entire region. By holding it, the pride commands the most absolute power on the savannah. Control of the water, and the prey has no choice. A herd of zebra, parched all day, is drawing near. Caught between thirst and the lions, they are forced to choose thirst as the lesser killer. The zebra stop short of the water, alert. Dozens of heads lift, ears pricked, nostrils flaring as they read the wind. They know death lies somewhere in the yellow grass, but behind them stretches a savannah without a single drop. In the acacia scrub, the lionesses press their bodies low to the ground. Eyes lock onto a zebra at the edge. Silently, the pride fans out, slowly closing the circle. The zebra scatter, throwing up a blinding cloud of dust. The pride drives the zebra at the edge, cutting it off from the herd. The hunt ends just a few steps from the water. The lions need not win every contest, they need only hold the water, and the prey will come to them. But the lion's power at the waterhole is not absolute. Not every prey animal will bow its head. A challenger is approaching, and it has not come to drink in secret. A black wall spills over the horizon. Not cloud, but a herd of African buffalo, hundreds strong, pounding the earth as they march straight for the waterhole. A grown bull weighs as much as 2,000 pounds, and it fears no lion at all. Unlike the zebra, the buffalo do not come to drink by stealth. They advance like an army, shoulder to shoulder, taking the water by numbers and by force. The pride rises, follows, searching for the weakest. And the whole herd turns. Hundreds of horns swing outward, the entire black mass surging back toward the pride. The prey becomes the hunter. The pride flees in panic. This waterhole today belongs to the buffalo. The buffalo's strength lies in collective discipline. A lone animal can still become a meal, but when the whole herd turns the same way, they form a wall that cannot be broken. That is why buffalo kill more lions than almost any other prey. The pride withdraws into the shade to lick its wounds. This round they have lost. But the dry season is long, and the buffalo will not always be so many or so united. Control of the water, it turns out, is never permanent. It is won and lost again every single day. While lions and buffalo clash at the center of the waterhole, out at the margins of the game, other predators quietly pay the price for that dominance. When a pride takes the best waterhole at the coolest hours, every other hunter is pushed out of the easy hours and the easy ambush spots, forced to feed at the worst time of day. The first to bear that price is the fastest hunter on the planet. High noon, when the sun scorches the savannah. The cheetah is the fastest animal on land in a few explosive seconds, reaching speeds of nearly 60 miles per hour. Yet this phenomenal sprint lasts less than a minute, costing them half an hour of breathless recovery, 30 minutes where the entire savannah knows their exact location. Hunting at midday is therefore a perilous double gamble. The cheetah coalition locks eyes on a wildebeest herd, singling out a massive grazing adult. They must coordinate perfectly for a swift, decisive kill, lacking the stamina for a prolonged chase beneath the scorching sun. Hugging the earth, they fan out and creep closer. 40 paces. 30. The adult wildebeest remains entirely unaware. Then, the entire coalition erupts. The panicked wildebeest bolts, its heavy hooves thundering in a desperate bid to shatter the siege. The cheetahs accelerate, drawing the net tight from all sides, severing every route of escape. A synchronized barrage of leaping strikes, and the colossal wildebeest loses its footing, crashing violently to the grass. The coalition has triumphed, but utterly exhausted. They lie, panting beside their prize, needing to recover before they can feast. They feed in hurried, anxious bites, acutely aware that heavier rivals could arrive at any moment to steal their prize. Such is the toll for marginalized predators, hunting in the deadliest hours and dividing the spoils with allies merely to safeguard their own hard-won meal. Not far away, along a line of trees beside a dry river, another hunter has chosen the opposite answer to the same problem. It is the leopard, a large male, up to around 200 pounds, his muscle packed into the shoulders and forelimbs, not for speed, but for hauling prey and for climbing. Unlike the cheetah, Exposed out on the open plain, the leopard hunts in darkness and in the shadow of trees. It does not need to be the fastest, only to go unseen until it is far too late. But once it has brought down its prey, the trouble has only just begun. The scent of blood spreads through the dry air, and a clan of spotted hyenas appears out of the grass, hackles raised, shrill whoops cutting across the afternoon. They have smelled a meal they did not have to hunt for. The spotted hyena lives in a ruthless matriarchal society. The females are larger than the males, and their jaws crush through even a thigh bone. A lone leopard cannot stand against the whole clan on the ground. It would lose its prey within minutes. But the leopard holds one card no thief can follow. It seizes its prey, sometimes as heavy as itself, and climbs straight up a tree trunk, one branch at a time, until the meal hangs draped over a fork high above, beyond the reach of the hyenas snarling below. Held back by gravity, the hyena clan turns to tax the others instead. Around every waterhole, no kill is ever complete, and no source of water is held without being paid for in blood. For weeks, the stage of water runs one way only. The lower the water falls, the more power gathers in whoever holds the last muddy edge. But on the horizon, a sky that has burned hard and blue for months is now piling up with grey cloud, heavy and low. The air changes its smell. A damp wind drifts across the scorched yellow grassland, carrying the promise the whole land has waited for all dry season. Rain is coming. It ought to be good news. But in the Mara, water has never been a simple gift. When the rain falls on the highlands, the Mara River will wake, and water, the very thing that was so scarce it killed, is about to become so abundant that it kills in a deadlier way still. The dry season has chosen its winners. Now it is the wet season's turn to overturn the board. And at a shallow crossing of the Mara River, an ancient predator has waited for this moment all year long. Hundreds of miles upstream from the Mara, the first rains of the season finally come down. Threads of water gather, run fast, and pour into the Mara River. After a dry season spent barely alive, the river now surges, its muddy water rising by the hour. And as the water rises, the balance of power begins to tilt. The killer is no longer the lion by the waterhole. From now on, the river itself will decide who lives and who dies. Driven by the same rain, a vast wave of life floods in. More than 1 million wildebeest, following the season's migration, converge on the banks of the Mara like a brown flood. They come for one reason only: the green grass on the far bank. The wildebeest mass at the water's edge, packed tight, hesitating. Thousands press in from behind, while those in front falter, sensing what waits beneath the murky water. For this is no random crossing, but a fixed shallow, where the herds have passed from one generation to the next. And at that exact spot, all but invisible beneath the murky water, lies the Nile crocodile, a male as long as 16 feet, weighing more than 1,300 pounds, an ambush machine barely changed in millions of years. This crocodile may not have taken a large meal in nearly a year. It does not need to. Its true weapon is not speed or strength, but a cold patience, letting the migration bring the feast right to its mouth. The pressure from behind breaks the hesitation. One wildebeest plunges in, and like a bursting dam, the whole herd pours after it, churning the river to white foam. The crossing dissolves into chaos. Wildebeest swim in a frenzy, colliding with one another. Amid the sea of thrashing bodies, dark shapes rise. The crocodile lunges. The huge jaws clamp shut, and then it rolls the death spin that drags the prey to the bottom and holds it under until it is spent. All around, the rest of the crocodiles attack as well. The shallow that once saved the herds has become a trap. But the crocodile is not the only danger. With thousands plunging into one narrow stretch of river, the deadliest killer today has no teeth. It is the panic of the herd itself. The weak are knocked down, trampled under, and swept away by the surging current. Many die not from crocodiles, but from drowning and from their own kind. On the opposite bank, the survivors stagger up, exhausted, leaving behind hundreds of bodies of their own bobbing in the water. The scene repeats at every crossing. The river that was once the boundary of life has become the line between living and dying, charging its toll in the blood of those forced to cross. When the crowd disperses and the water settles, the bloodied river has not yet finished its story. For here lives another master, larger than the crocodile and far more short-tempered. From the deep water, an enormous head breaks the surface, blowing out 2 columns of spray. The hippopotamus, a male weighing more than 7,000 pounds, who treats this stretch of river as inviolable territory. Few would guess this grazer ranks among the most dangerous animals in Africa. When it gapes, the 2 jaws open to nearly 150 degrees, bearing tusks long enough to pierce a wooden boat, strong enough to bite an angry crocodile clean in 2. Within the pod, clashes break out without pause. Two bulls hurl themselves at each other, jaws thrown wide, fighting for the best stretch of water and the right to mate. And yet the hippo's greatest role lies in something no one can see. Each night it climbs ashore and grazes as much as 90 pounds of grass, then by day returns to the river and voids it there. The hippo population pours around 880 pounds of silicon into the river each day, an element the whole river depends on. That silicon is no waste. The hippopod governs around 76% of the silicon flow of the Mara River, the material that builds diatoms, the tiny organisms that underpin the entire underwater food chain. Without hippos, the diatoms decline, and the fish that feed on them go hungry too. And so this huge, ill-tempered animal is in truth a living pump, grazing in one world and seeding life into another. But the greatest gift the river receives this season comes not from the hippo, but from the very wildebeest that have just drowned. Each year, an average of around 6,250 drown at the Mara crossings. Roughly 1,100 tons of meat and bone poured into the river over a few weeks. At first glance, it looks like a terrible waste. But the river wastes none of it. The soft flesh is cleared away by fish, crocodiles, and bacteria within weeks at times. Wildebeest carcasses make up as much as half the diet of the fish here. The bones are the strangest part. They break down slowly, taking as long as 7 years to dissolve, and all that while they leak phosphorus. Each drowning releases around 13 tons of phosphorus into the river, set free gradually, like a slow-release capsule. This is the deepest paradox of this region. The river kills thousands of lives, then turns that death into the foundation of new life, algae blooming, fish growing, the food chain reborn. Meanwhile, on the far bank, the survivors are still not out of danger. The scent of blood and the din of chaos have called the lions in. To them, the crossing is a second feast, the prey, too tired to run, bunched together in one narrow place. The crossing therefore kills on both sides. Those that hesitate become food for the crocodiles in the water, and those that make it across meet tooth and claw on land. The river grants no one a clean escape. When the migration has passed, the Mara crossing falls quiet, bearing the marks of both slaughter and rebirth. Power has shifted from those who held the waterhole to the river itself. The lions step back. The crocodiles and hippos step forward. The very same thing water both lifts up and pulls under everything alive. And when these battles have died down, there is still one task left undone. Across the Savannah and along the river banks, thousands of bodies still lie out under the sun. Who will close the loop that water has opened? The answer comes not from the ground, but from the sky, black specks circling so high they are almost lost from sight, looking down on the whole drama playing out below. They are white-backed vultures. Their eyes see roughly 8 times sharper than a human's, picking out a carcass from many miles away. One bird circling spots a wildebeest carcass, and the whole sky answers. Hundreds drop down, turning the body into the center of a great cleanup. What looks like a gruesome scene is, in truth, a vital service. Within hours, The vultures strip a carcass bare that, if left, would rot and spread disease through every waterhole. The vulture's most potent weapon lies in its gut, a stomach acid so strong it can dissolve even the bacteria of anthrax, of cholera, and the toxins that fell other animals. The vulture eats what kills everything else and renders it harmless. In this way, the vulture closes the loop that water has opened. Death here has never been a full stop. Water draws the prey in, the hunter kills, the river drowns, and then the vulture returns it all to the earth so that a new season of water can begin. Sunlight pours across the Serengeti plains like golden lava spreading over every blade of grass, every lone acacia, every speck of dust suspended in the scorching air. This is Africa, the continent where life never stops moving and death is never more than one step away. In the chest-high grass, a golden shadow lies motionless, a lioness not resting, waiting. Her body weighs over 130 pounds, stretching nearly 6.5 feet long, pressed flat against the earth. Her pale, golden coat blends perfectly into the sea of dry grass, transforming the apex predator into an invisible ghost in broad daylight. Golden eyes narrow, locking onto a herd of taupe antelope over 300 feet away. Eyes evolved to see through swaying grass, to distinguish the movement of prey from the movement of wind. In a lion pride, the male commands the majestic mane and a roar that carries 5 miles. But the one who truly feeds the pride, the one who carries out 90% of all hunts, is always the female. They hunt in groups with sophisticated, coordinated tactics. 1 lures from the front, 2 flank from either side. The Lioness is not the fastest on the Savannah. Her top speed reaches only about 50 miles per hour, far slower than the antelope. But she compensates with intelligence and the ability to read her prey before it even chooses which way to run. Every hunt is a chess match, and the Lioness plays chess better than any big cat on the planet. But the prey is no easy catch. The topi, the fastest antelope in East Africa, spotted the danger before the Lioness even left her position. Because the topi possess a habit few antelope share: sentry duty. A single individual breaks from the herd, climbs the tallest termite mound in sight, and stands motionless for hours, scanning the entire savannah with eyes evolved to detect movement at extreme distance. A topi's body stretches about 5 feet 7 inches, weighing up to 140 pounds. Their dark brown coat shimmers with iridescent blue-purple patches on the shoulders and thighs, a strange beauty amid the scorched savannah. The whole herd surges like a wave, hitting 60 miles per hour within the first few strides. The Lioness stops, breathing hard. Today, speed beats strategy. But on the savannah, one creature's failure is always another's opportunity. The dust cloud the topi left behind hasn't settled, and another pair of eyes has been watching from the edge of the grassland. The spotted hyena, Africa's most misunderstood animal, not the cowardly scavenger of legend, but one of the savannah's most efficient hunters. In reality, spotted hyenas hunt for themselves in over 70% of their meals. They run with endurance, not as fast as the topi in a straight line, but maintaining 40 miles per hour over several miles until their prey collapses from exhaustion. Their jaws generate a bite force exceeding 1100 psi, the strongest of any terrestrial carnivore. But the most extraordinary thing is not the jaw, it is the society. Spotted hyenas live in a matriarchal system. Females dominate males, and the lowest-ranking female still outranks the highest-ranking male in the clan. Their social structure rivals that of primates. They recognize every member by voice, remember alliances and rivalries, and make tactical decisions as a group. When a spotted hyena laughs, that spine-chilling cackle echoing across the savannah, it is not laughter. It is a complex communication signal, carrying information about body size, location, and intent. A hyena clan can number up to 80 individuals, coordinating attacks with a precision that forces even lion prides to yield. But there is one creature on the savannah that both lions and hyenas think twice before attacking. The African Cape buffalo. Locals call them Black Death, and not without reason. Every year, Cape buffalo kill more hunters in Africa than any other large animal. They do not flee, they turn around. A body weighing up to about 2,000 pounds, a pair of horns fused into a thick shield atop the skull, a structure biologists call the boss so hard that rifle bullets sometimes ricochet off it. Each charge delivers force equivalent to a small car hitting at 30 miles per hour. But the true power of the Cape buffalo lies not in the individual. It lies in the herd. When a calf is dragged down by a lion, a group turns back. Not an organized retreat, a full-scale counterattack. Adult buffalo charge straight into the lion pride, horns leveled, each one weighing nearly a ton. Buffalo counterattacks are among the most violent spectacles on the savannah, and the outcome does not always favor the predator. Cape buffalo have terrifying memories. They remember their enemies and seek revenge. A lion that once attacked the herd may be hunted down days later. Amid the violence of the savannah, there comes a moment of unexpected tenderness. On a wet patch of grass beside a shallow lake, a pair of gray-crowned cranes are dancing. Not moving, literally dancing. The golden crown atop their heads, actually a tuft of stiff bristles, quivers with every step. Wings spread over 6.5 feet wide, legs lifted high, heads nodding rhythmically in the midday sun. The gray-crowned crane is the only crane species that can perch in trees thanks to a hind toe long enough to grip branches, a trait no other crane on the planet possesses. This is the courtship dance, one of the most elaborate rituals in the avian world. The pair dances face to face. spins in circles, dances, then freezes, as if testing whether their partner has the patience to wait. Gray-crowned cranes mate for life. Once they choose a partner, they never change year after year, dancing together, nesting together, raising young on a savanna full of danger. Their calls carry for miles two alternating notes, high and low, like a duet beneath the blue African sky. Violence and tenderness, speed and patience, the power of the herd, and lifelong devotion. On this continent, life writes every story imaginable. But Africa is only one chapter. This planet holds another kingdom, vaster, deeper, and more mysterious than every savanna, every jungle, every desert combined. The ocean. And at the deepest reaches of the ocean, night is eternal. The sun is nothing but a memory buried beneath miles of seawater. The Mariana Trench, the deepest scar on the face of the earth, stretching over 1,500 miles across the western Pacific, where two tectonic plates collide and one is swallowed into the bowels of the planet. Its deepest point, Challenger Deep, plunges nearly 36,000 feet below the surface. If you placed Mount Everest on the trench floor, the peak would still lie buried under more than a mile of water. Join us as we explore the deepest layers of the ocean to witness life where existence seems impossible. The blue whale. The largest creature ever to exist on Earth, not just today, but in the entire history of life, including the age of the dinosaurs. Their bodies stretch over 100 feet longer than 3 buses lined end to end. Their weight exceeds 200 tons. A blue whale's heart weighs between 180 and 270 pounds. It is so large that a small child could crawl through its major arteries. But size is not their only weapon. Blue whales communicate through low-frequency sounds that resonate hundreds of miles across the ocean. These calls fall below the threshold of human hearing, penetrating water the way radio waves penetrate the atmosphere. In a world without light, sound is the dominant language. A single call can travel over 500 miles, passing through layers of water with varying temperatures and salinity, bending along the contours of the ocean floor. Blue whales find mates through sound. They find feeding grounds through sound. In a world where visibility reaches only a few dozen feet, sound is the compass, the map, and the love letter, all in a single vibration. At adult size, blue whales have virtually no natural predators. They are living proof that in the sunlit surface waters, where light and plankton are abundant, life can reach a scale that stretches the imagination. But the blue whale is not the only giant that chose the strategy of filter feeding to survive. The whale shark, the largest fish on Earth and one of the ocean's greatest living paradoxes. Their bodies stretch over 40 feet on average, but the largest individuals ever recorded reached nearly 60 feet. Their weight ranges from about 17 to over 22 tons. A mouth that opens over 5 feet wide, large enough to swallow a full-grown person whole, but they never do. Inside that mouth, thousands of tiny teeth line up in rows, but none are used for biting. They are entirely structural, like relics of an evolutionary past left behind. The whale shark is a living filter. It sucks water through its mouth, strains it through its gills, and traps plankton, fish eggs, and tiny shrimp. About 1,600 gallons of water pass through its body every hour. Every whale shark carries on its skin a pattern of spots as unique as a fingerprint. No two are alike. Their skin ranks among the thickest in the fish world, a natural armor protecting the massive but delicate body within. Whale sharks are ovoviviparous eggs hatch inside the mother's body, and the young are born fully formed. A single female can carry hundreds of embryos at various stages of development. Despite their sluggish appearance at the surface, whale sharks can dive to depths of about 6,200 feet, plunging through the twilight zone into near total darkness. Their lifespan may exceed a century, 100 years of quietly filtering water, drifting across oceans along routes that science has yet to fully map. They migrate with the seasons, sometimes crossing entire oceans, but always returning to the same plankton-rich waters year after year, as if a map were hardwired into their genes. The largest, the gentlest, the most patient. Over more than a century of existence, a single whale shark filters billions of gallons of water, slowly, patiently, without haste. The giant oceanic manta ray, a wingspan reaching up to about 30 feet, the largest ray on the planet. But size is not the most astonishing thing. The manta ray possesses the largest brain-to-body ratio of any cold-blooded fish, a brain that surpasses those of all sharks, tunas, and swordfish. And that brain is not for decoration. In experiments, manta rays can recognize themselves in a mirror, an ability scientists call self-awareness, documented in only a handful of species: great apes, dolphins, elephants, and crows. They can dive to depths of about 4,100 feet, plunging through the twilight zone, where light is nothing but a fading memory. When feeding, they coordinate in groups, forming spirals, executing barrel rolls to create vortices, funneling plankton into a spinning column, and then taking turns surging through it. A strategy requiring communication, coordination, and possibly planning. They seek out specific coral reefs where small fish remove parasites from their skin and gills. Returning to the same cleaning stations year after year, remembering locations, remembering schedules. A form of symbiosis where both sides benefit, built on trust and habit. Their estimated lifespan reaches 40 years or more, and throughout that lifetime, they never stop learning. In the ocean, memory is a survival weapon every bit as powerful as a strong jaw or raw speed. Three giants, three filter-feeding strategies, all of them gentle, all of them dependent on the ocean's smallest creatures. But not every giant is gentle. In the same waters, an entirely different predator patrols, and it does not filter. It tears. The tiger shark. Named for the dark stripes running along its body, bold in juveniles, fading with age like scars of time erased by the ocean. Their bodies stretch over 18 feet, weighing nearly a ton, not as fast as the great white, not as sleek as the mako. But the tiger shark needs neither speed nor elegance. It has something else. Absolute indiscrimination. Scientists call them the garbage cans of the ocean, and that is not an insult. It is a fact. Inside tiger shark stomachs, researchers have found license plates, tires, boat cushions, oil cans. Anything that falls into the ocean can become a meal. Their teeth explain why. Broad, flat, with deep serrations on both edges, not designed to pierce like a great white's, but to saw, like biological saw blades. Those teeth were engineered for one specific purpose: cutting through sea turtle shells, the hardest material on any underwater predator's menu. Tiger sharks possess ampullae of Lorenzini, thousands of tiny pores on the head, each containing electroreceptor cells. Every living creature generates a weak electrical field when muscles contract, when the heart beats. Tiger sharks sense these signals even when prey lies buried under sand, even in total darkness. Their hunting strategy is not speed. It is patience and ambush, patrolling slowly through shallow coastal waters where sea turtles come ashore to nest and return. When an adult green sea turtle glides through murky water, the tiger shark does not give chase, it waits. Waits until the distance is right. Waits until the angle of attack is perfect. Then a single strike, from below, aimed at the edge of the shell. The serrated jaws clamp down. The head shakes violently side to side, the serrations working like a chainsaw, cutting through the shell layer by layer. That is not brutality. That is technique honed over tens of millions of years of evolution. The turtle's shell, the armor that protected this species for 200 million years, is breached in under a second. But not every ambush succeeds. Sea turtles are not easy prey. Their shells are fortresses, and their evasion instincts have been sharpened over millions of years. But the tiger shark's favored prey, the green sea turtle, is not a species easily erased. They have survived 5 mass extinctions. An adult green sea turtle's shell stretches over 3 feet. Weighing up to 400 pounds. That shell is the product of 200 million years of evolution, a mobile fortress. As adults, green sea turtles become the ocean's gardeners, grazing on seagrass, keeping the meadows healthy. Without green sea turtles, seagrass beds degrade, and hundreds of fish species lose their shelter. A green sea turtle's brain contains magnetite crystals, a biological compass that senses the planet's magnetic field. They return to the very beach where they were born after 20, 30, even 40 years. That magnetic memory never fades. And every turtle that completes this life cycle carries scars on its shell, evidence of dozens of near-death encounters with tiger shark jaws, fishing nets, and an ocean that never forgives. The green sea turtle is not the fastest, not the strongest, but it is the most patient, and in the ocean, patience is the currency of highest value. If these extraordinary tales of survival have captivated you, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Beneath the surface, below the waters where tiger sharks patrol and sea turtles migrate, an entirely different world begins. The twilight zone, the mesopelagic zone. From about 650 to 3,300 feet deep, where sunlight fades until only blue-black darkness remains. This zone accounts for 20% of the global ocean's total volume, yet harbors a secret that science is only beginning to understand. Every night, as the sun sets, billions of creatures from the twilight zone swim up to the surface to feed. Every dawn, they descend once more. This is the largest biological migration on Earth, not the wildebeest of the Serengeti, not the salmon of the Pacific. It is billions of organs moving vertically every single day through hundreds of feet of water. This vertical migration transports a massive amount of carbon from the surface to the deep, a biological pump that plays a critical role in regulating the global climate. And in the twilight zone, evolution has engineered solutions that light never imagined. In the twilight zone, some fish have evolved tubular eyes pointing straight up, optimized for spotting the silhouettes of prey against the faint glow above. Bodies transparent. Many species have evolved to become nearly invisible organs, muscles, even bones are see-through, to cast no shadow for predators to detect. And then self-made light, bioluminescence. Over 76% of deep-sea organisms can produce their own light. Dragonfish use red light, a wavelength most deep-sea creatures cannot see, like military infrared. They see their prey, but their prey cannot see them. Firefly squid emit hundreds of tiny luminous dots along their bodies like a night sky turned upside down, with stars swimming in the ocean instead of hanging in the heavens. Crystal jellyfish drift through the dark water, their bodies barely existing, nothing but water and flickering light. No brain, no heart, no blood, yet surviving where most organisms cannot. Giant isopods, relatives of the humble pillbug on land, swell to the size of a football in the deep. Low pressure and frigid temperatures allow them to grow slowly, reaching sizes their terrestrial cousins could never dream of. And at the darkest edge of the twilight zone, ghost sharks glide, ancient creatures of the order Chimeriformes, a lineage dating back over 300 million years. Before dinosaurs appeared, before modern sharks evolved, ghost sharks were already here, and they remain virtually unchanged, like living fossils drifting through darkness. Ghost sharks swim by, flapping their pectoral fins up and down, a style entirely unlike modern sharks. Their eyes are large, glowing green, adapted to near absolute darkness. The twilight zone is not a refuge. It is a transition where the rules of light gradually yield to the rules of darkness. And below the twilight zone, where the last trace of light finally dies, there is a creature that does not merely visit the darkness. It lives in the darkness. It hunts in the darkness. It is the only creature on the planet that can traverse every layer of the ocean, from the sunlit surface to the lightless abyss. When the last light goes out, the true journey begins. The sperm whale, the largest toothed creature on Earth, and the only predator that dives through every layer of the ocean. An adult male's body stretches nearly 65 feet. Weight exceeds 55 tons. The enormous head accounts for a third of total body length, a proportion unlike any other living creature. Inside that head sits a brain weighing 8 to 9 pounds, the largest in the entire history of the animal kingdom. Larger than a blue whale's. Larger than an elephant's, larger than any dinosaur that ever lived. But the most astonishing thing is not the size of the brain. It is what fills the rest of the head. The spermaceti organ, a waxy mass weighing up to about 5,500 pounds, occupying most of the head cavity. Many scientists believe it helps regulate buoyancy, changing the temperature of the wax to sink or rise without expending muscular energy. Sperm whales routinely dive to depths between 1,300 and 4,000 feet, but in extreme dives they can plunge past 6,600 feet. Each dive lasts 45 minutes to over an hour in absolute darkness, under crushing pressure, with a limited oxygen supply. To survive, their bodies trigger an extraordinary chain of reflexes. Heart rate drops dramatically. Blood is redirected, concentrated in the brain and heart, Lungs collapse completely to prevent pressure damage. Sperm whales do not breathe underwater. They hold their breath and spend every drop of oxygen like a last coin. In the deep, eyes are utterly useless. And it is here that the sperm whale's true weapon activates. Sound, clicks. Sperm whales produce clicks reaching up to 200 to 36 decibels, the loudest sound generated by any living creature, louder than a jet engine. Those clicks fire from the spermaceti organ like sonar beams, cutting through water, striking objects, and bouncing back. The sperm whale reads the echoes, and inside its mind, a three-dimensional map of the dark water materializes. They see without eyes. They hear shapes. They hear distance. They hear prey. And the primary prey squid. Each day, a sperm whale consumes 1 to 2 tons of food, almost entirely squid, dozens of dives, dozens of breath holds, dozens of descents into darkness. But sometimes the sonar detects something larger, closer, moving differently. Not a school of small squid, a single individual, colossal. During deep dives, male sperm whales often hunt alone, deeper, farther, longer than females. Solitude is the price of size. The giant squid, tentacles stretching dozens of feet, eyes the size of dinner plates, the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, evolved to capture every last photon in near total darkness. The encounter unfolds beyond the reach of any camera, any scientist, any light. There is only darkness and 2 colossal creatures. The giant squid fights back. Tentacles wrap around the whale's head, each sucker rimmed with razor-sharp serrations, gripping tight, cutting deep into the skin. But the sperm whale is larger, stronger, and has rehearsed this battle thousands of times in its lifetime. The whale's jaws clamp shut, tentacles go slack, darkness swallows the rest. Sperm whale communication is not just for hunting. They talk to each other in rhythmic sequences of clicks. Scientists call them codas. Each population has its own set of codas. The Caribbean differs from the Pacific, the Mediterranean from the Indian Ocean. These are not random noises. These are dialects, evidence of culture beneath the waves. Female sperm whales live in family units for life, mothers, daughters, granddaughters, sharing babysitting duties, hunting and protecting one another. Mothers teach codas to their calves. The young imitate, correct mistakes, practice the way human children learn to speak, a language passed down through generations, not through genes, but through learning. When a young sperm whale is separated from its mother, its clicks change faster rhythm, higher intensity. Scientists call it a distress call, and the mother responds within seconds. When the whale surfaces, exhaling a spout of vapor rising about 7 feet, sunlight illuminates its body, and on the skin, evidence of the abyss appears. Circular scars, dozens, hundreds imprinted by giant squid suckers. Each scar is a battle. Each battle is a dive into a place no other creature dares to go. Sperm whales carry the darkness on their own bodies, a map of the abyss, written in scars. Deep-sea starfish creep across the muddy floor propelled by hundreds of tiny tube feet, each step spanning only a few fractions of an inch. Speed is measured in inches per minute. A starfish's body contains no air cavities, only water and collagen. Pressure cannot crush them because there is nothing inside to compress. The ocean flows through them. When a gap appears, sometimes only a fraction of an inch wide, the starfish pushes its stomach outside its body, threads it through the gap, and digests its prey right inside the shell. External digestion. In a place where energy is the scarcest resource, the starfish wastes not a single calorie on chewing or swallowing. If it loses an arm, it grows back. Regeneration can take months to years, but in the deep, time is not in short supply. Deep-sea starfish can live for decades, an astonishing lifespan for a creature with no brain, no heart, and virtually no movement. Time in the deep flows differently, slower, more patient, like the ocean itself. Patience is a philosophy. Patience is a strategy. Patience is the only way to survive in a place where everything light, food, oxygen is scarce. On the wild African savannah, there is no room for compassion or chance. Each day is an epic of survival, written by the sun, the wind, and the unforgiving hunt. The warthog, one of the few creatures that truly thrives in the 104-degree Fahrenheit heat. Their bodies lack sweat glands, so they seek out mud as a natural spa therapy, both to cool down and to protect their skin from parasites. This is a sounder of warthogs, formed by resilient mothers and their future generations. This social bond is their first line of defense. Their homes are old burrows, often abandoned by aardvarks. A natural architecture with a biological air conditioning system that helps maintain a stable body temperature amidst the scorching heat. In the wild, innocence is a death sentence. The leopard, a solitary hunter, is a master of the art of stealth. Its coat, with its exquisite rosettes, allows it to merge perfectly with the savanna's dry, withered vegetation. It approaches in absolute silence, every muscle coiled like a compressed spring, and its padded paws allow it to move without making the slightest sound. Its target is a warthog, an abundant source of energy and protein. The dry season causes the prey's distinct scent to travel farther, guiding the hunter The leopard knows it has only one chance. The attack must target the nape of the neck, the fatal weak point where the spinal cord meets the skull. A single, precise, and powerful bite will end the struggle quickly. If it attacks the body or legs, the warthog can still fight back. Its tusks, though short, are as sharp as daggers and are not for show. The lower tusks, constantly sharpened against the upper pair, form a lethal weapon, ready for a defensive thrust that can tear through an enemy's flesh. The hunt begins. The leopard lunges, and after a brief but intense chase, it delivers the decisive bite. The struggle is over almost instantly. But the hunt is not yet finished. The scent of fresh blood quickly attracts other opportunists. The branches become an aerial larder, a safe place that few other predators can reach. Here, among the leaves, the leopard can finally enjoy the rewards of a perfect hunt, a testament to its power, patience, and masterful skill. But is the warthog truly a helpless prey? This pack of African wild dogs will give us the answer. They are the marathon runners of the Savannah, and their hunting success rate of up to 80% is the highest among Africa's predators. And that reputation is not an empty boast. Even as a pack, they hesitate before those sharp tusks. The warthog knows that the dry season and the midday sun are a predator's weaknesses. Its breathing is still ragged, but within it lies a resilient pride. It has survived to fight another day. The dry season is tightening its grip on the savannah. The grasses wither. The water holes are shrinking. Yet the warthog seems to defy this rule. They use their snouts and tusks to dig, searching for roots, dried tubers, and withered grass food sources that many other species ignore. They can also endure many days without water, reducing activity at midday to conserve energy. But today, it has reached its limit. This waterhole is either a savior or a deadly trap where predators lie in wait. Few predators dare to risk hunting by day, but the cheetah is different. It was born for speed and sunlight. The black, tear-like streaks under their eyes not only absorb the glaring light, but also help them focus on a moving target with high precision, much like the black stripes athletes wear under their eyes. The Ferrari of the natural world is on the move. Its lightweight skeleton, flexible spine, and enormous lungs are all designed for a single purpose: explosive speed. Hunger quickly returns after the brief meal, forcing the cheetah to hunt again. Speed comes at the cost of energy, and it must constantly refuel. But the warthog mother is now hardened by loss. She will not lose another of her young. The cheetah is exhausted, its body is overheating. After a short chase, its body temperature can rise to dangerous levels. Only water can save it now, but the dry riverbed offers no mercy. Family ties have their limits. At 2 years of age, young male warthogs are driven from the sounder. This prevents inbreeding and forces them to seek their. The dry season in the southern Serengeti is still a fertile sanctuary. From the north, millions of wildebeest and zebra are undertaking the Great Migration. They journey relentlessly, following the rains and the green pastures. But it is not just food that awaits them. The thunder of hooves has awakened the proud rulers. The lions are ready. The harsh dry season is an advantage, helping them conceal themselves perfectly in the yellowed vegetation. A single male lion can consume up to 88 pounds of meat in one sitting. So small, isolated prey is never enough for the whole pride. The lions begin to set a trap based on their age-old knowledge of the terrain. While the powerful males stay behind to protect the territory, the lionesses are the elite hunters. They coordinate with the precision of a true army, targeting the dense herds of zebra. However, the Savannah holds another formidable opponent, the African buffalo. A lion's feast does not always go as planned. The spotted hyena. Do not call them cowardly thieves that live only on carrion. That would be an insult, as 90% of their food comes from their own hunts, thanks to their endurance and bone-crushing jaws. The other 10% is today's case. This frenzied mob, with its characteristic chilling laugh, knows no fear. For a male lion, kingship is not a gift. It must be earned through blood. The tragedy begins within the family itself. At the age of 3, young males are driven into a life of exile by their own father. Cast out, they wander through unclaimed lands where survival is the only lesson. It is in this crucible of hardship that brotherly coalitions are forged. And then, stronger, more ruthless, they return. Not for a reunion, but for an overthrow. The battle for the throne is a lightning storm. The lion is a sprinter, not a marathon runner. Its body is designed for a devastating burst of power, not a prolonged fight. Every second counts. If the first attack fails, energy is depleted. The body overheats. The victor takes all. The loser, if he survives, vanishes into the shadows. The Savannah has a new king. But the crown is never worn in peace. Because here, the cycle of power is eternal. From the other side, the warthog has realized that the pride has reached the limits of its exhaustion and disunity. Appearing in the open before the starving predators is just the first step in its plan. A series of secret escapes, burrows known only to it, is the real key. The tactic of misdirection has been activated. This is not a suicidal act, but pure provocation, a battle of wits. A lion's speed always surpasses a warthog's, but look at the sun. The midday heat is draining the hunter's strength. What we see now is more helplessness and confusion than anger. Panting, exhausted. That is the image of the tyrants now. The news will soon travel on the wind. Today, the uncrowned kings have become a laughingstock in this arid, unforgiving land. Even those who lurk beneath the water, like the hippopotamus, have heard of this humiliation. That has truly infuriated the lion. Even while drinking, it cannot escape the provocations of an unexpected rival. But the hippopotamus has never been one to be trifled with. They may seem placid, but they are among the most dangerous and aggressive animals in Africa. The lion's attitude has been noted by the giant. And the hippopotamus is intelligent enough to know where the lion's weakness lies. In the water, its territory. Just by approaching the water's edge, everything could collapse. No creature can survive without water, and now that life source is controlled by a formidable adversary. The lions once again retreat in silence, awaiting a day of revenge. This time, it will require more patience and strategy. Sometimes, nature softens with gentle rains and cool waters, and fortunes change once more. In other parts of Africa, creation has bestowed life upon those who are worthy. The Chobe River, a ribbon of blue winding through arid lands, is the lifeblood of an entire region. This is the kingdom of the African elephant, with the highest density on the continent. These giants stand up to 10 feet tall and weigh 6.5 tons, yet they move with a remarkable serenity. Every part of their body is a masterpiece of adaptation. Their enormous ears are a sophisticated cooling system. The trunk, with over 40,000 muscle bundles, is an incredibly versatile tool, powerful enough to fell a tree, yet delicate enough to pick a single berry. And their tusks are keys to survival, used to dig for water or strip bark from trees. But their true strength lies in their bonds. Each herd is a complex matriarchal society led by a wise older female. Her phenomenal memory guides the herd along ancient trails to water, knowledge passed down through generations. They communicate using infrasonic sounds that humans cannot hear, vibrations that travel through the ground, connecting them across miles. By shaping the landscape, they act as the ecological engineers of this land. Yet, their future is fragile. With a gestation period of nearly 2 years, their rate of reproduction is incredibly slow. This fact, along with other threats, has placed this magnificent species on the near-threatened list. The African buffalo is also present, a silent warrior of steadfast build and calm strength. They are a symbol of Africa's resilience. Mature males are distinguished by horns that can span over 3 feet, with a base in the middle of the forehead as hard as concrete, known as a boss. This structure is both a protective shield and a symbol of authority in confrontations. However, behind that robust exterior lies a precisely organized society. Large herds can exceed 1,000 individuals, led by experienced females. Though weighing nearly 2,000 pounds, they swim with the skill of professional athletes. The Chobe River is not a barrier, but a corridor of life. Each day, a buffalo can drink up to 9 gallons of water, making this an essential point of recovery. Within the herd, when a decision on direction is needed, buffalo do not command with sound. They simply vote. Each female will stand and look in the direction she wishes to go. When a majority agrees, the entire herd moves as one. A silent but remarkably precise and effective form of democracy. In contrast to the majestic build of the buffalo, the spotted hyena is much smaller, yet it is a formidable presence and one of Africa's most intelligent animals. With powerful jaws and a bite force of 1,000 pounds stronger than a lion's, it can crush bones 2 inches thick to extract every nutrient. Its digestive system is so efficient it can process both bone and hoof, utilizing almost the entire carcass of its prey. Stamina is another advantage. They can maintain a speed of 6 miles per hour for hours on end to exhaust their prey. When necessary, they can accelerate to 37 miles per hour. Spotted hyenas live in close-knit, matriarchal clans that can number up to 80 individuals. A lead female, the matriarch, governs the group, defining a social structure in which females are absolutely dominant. Hyenas work together, employing clever strategies to take down wildebeest, zebra, and even buffalo calves. Their communication is distinctive. They emit calls that sound like laughter when stressed or excited, along with 11 other types of vocalizations. This species' flexible intelligence in cooperation and problem-solving is comparable to that of some primates.